This is Stina and Rachel here for your Friday fish check at Minter Creek here in, I don't know.
We're Gig Harbor still.
Yeah, we're still in Gig Harbor. Perfect. And we already are feeling pretty
confident.
Pretty confident, yes. Because if we look at all of these cars, we had to park way the heck over here. So we're coming in hot.
Kind of cool because this allows us to see a view of the hatchery itself.
Oh yeah.
Now the hatchery's normally open in the fall, and you can come and visit and see the procedures that are happening here. But right now, because
I'm gonna awkwardly pause in here and do a zoom. Doo-doo-doo. Okay, let's get close to Rachel so if she talks, we can still hear her.
So it gives us a little bit of a view of some ponds and raceways that are right now vacant. And so normally these would be filled with water. We would see fish being there. You can see the platforms on top where people walk. That's so they can feed these fish. So what the hatchery does is it really gives kind of a head start to our little salmon friends. And I believe this hatchery does 3 different species. They do chum, which is the natural fish that's found here in the stream. And they also raise coho salmon, also known as silver salmon. And I believe some king salmon too, although I'm not 100% on that, so don't quote me or anything. But
Yeah.
Let's walk down.
And as we walk down, for those of you who are tuning in, if you could let us know where you're watching from, we love to know that information. It's exciting to have people from all over the place joining us here at Minter Creek virtually. The joys of technology.
Yeah, let me pull up the tide so you can take a look today.
Yeah, we've been doing these checks every Friday for the last couple weeks,
I think our
and
location's going to be the closest.
And it's been fun to compare the sites, whether it's high tide or low tide, and we're definitely just about
To that high
tide.
tide. So the saltwater is pushing in from the bay, and that is going to rise and raise the level of the creek significantly. So we should see a lot more water than we did last week when we were here. Also things you might notice that are different from here to last week is most of the leaves are gone. We're now looking at bare trees for the most part. A few stragglers on those older trees, but for the most part we're looking at bare limbs.
I wish we were looking at bear limbs as in the mammal bears.
Oh, that would be awesome. But no, we're not looking at that.
All right, we have some fishermen with a nice
Here comes the car.
Nice
We're
salmon
gonna
here.
Move off.
Hey there. Dun, da, da, da. All right, I brought my fantastic fish mask because I have a feeling, well, we already saw one salmon,
Yeah.
but I think we're gonna see some more.
Let's take a look at our water levels and see how this has changed from last week. Now, we predicted we would start to see a lot more sediment in the water as we had some rainy days, and that is totally true.
Yeah.
It's looking a bit like beef broth down there. Really strong tea, maybe. And so it's harder and harder to see down into the water. Now, we do have a little bit of a trick. We brought I got polarized sunglasses here, which help to cut the glare a little bit, but since the water is so dark, it's not much of a help. So we have a couple of options for
Oh gosh, sorry everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
doing it.
great. Plus now we're getting a little bit of rainfall, so that's going to break up the surface and make it harder to view as well. Let's hop over to the opposite side.
Yeah,
and
the
take a
reflections are pretty, but
look. It is pretty, but let's take a look at the estuary side of things.
car. Oh, well, that's handy.
We've got quite a number of fishermen here hanging out, trying to take advantage of these fish as they come up.
You guys are working this?
No, we do Harbor Wild Watch, and we're doing a little live video on our Facebook stream.
So as we look out, last week we were able to walk all the way down across that floodplain and be able to walk straight out, and now you can see really what a high tide does and how it can really fill in this area quite a bit.
Now watch them reel in this fish over here. See it fighting against the line.
So again, we're looking at chum salmon here, which is one of the latest spawning salmon that we have. Earlier in the year, we would see silvers and king salmon spawning in our local streams. This stream, Minter Creek, is not a very long stream, and so it wouldn't naturally be supporting those fish species. The fish species that's found here naturally is the chum salmon, which is what's active right now.
Sorry, I think
Lots
I
of
missed that
action.
one. That was exciting. I was looking too far to the left. We had a nice jumper.
Nice. So you can see all the folks who are out here are outfitted in their waders because they're pretty significantly deep there. Where last week I was able to walk down there with just my tennis shoes on. So you can really see how the tide changes this habitat pretty significantly.
Might peek around this so we get a good view of this fish coming in.
Right?
You can already kind of see the spawning colors of that chum salmon, where they're definitely that kind of purple and olive
Yep.
green.
So that was a snag catch, which is why that was let go. You can only take the fish if they actually bite your lure. So you can't just throw your hook in and hope to snag a fish and take advantage of that. So
That's
good
good.
to see responsible fishing happening here.
Yay! Also noticing some little mallards off in the distance.
Oh yeah, look at them. They're
Poking
feeding,
around.
taking advantage. So when this tide floods this area, a lot of the invertebrates that are in this water would be active. And I'm actually noticing, Sina. I
Yeah,
don't know
what
if
is
you can
up
zoom
with
in.
the barrel?
My guess, well, past the barrel was a big something under the water, and my guess would be harbor seal. They are known to chase chum salmon upstream quite a ways. We've seen them in Donkey Creek going all the way past the Harborview Drive Bridge, which is pretty significant because on a negative tide or a 0-foot tide, you know, that creek is only only a couple of inches high. Same with this one. But when we get these flood tides, with the high tide, it's really easy for those big mammals to make their way up.
I think that big ripple.
Yep, the big
Beyond the
ripple.
barrel?
Yep, can you see it?
Happy little duck wiggles.
Cool to see. Should we pop across and see if we can get closer to the hatchery gate? We might be able to see some more fish there.
Yeah, let's do that.
I think we can.
Hey,
Think we get over there.
go.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
wait.
see it?
School coming.
We might actually wait a little longer.
Yeah, we're seeing a little bit more action here with our fish.
Something.
So again, if you're just tuning in, we'd love to know where you're watching from. You can go ahead and pop your city and state in there. That'll help us answer some questions about how far our messages are traveling. So that's always kind of fun for us to know.
Yeah, and so what we're kind of watching by that barrel. There's
Significant water
significant
movement.
water movement. Zoom in a little more.
So some of the chum do school together and will push upstream all at once. So that could be what we're seeing. My guess was a predator, but now that I haven't seen like confirmation, you know, normally I'd see a head pop up, a breath that they take. That would be a good indicator that there's a big predator there. Yeah, I wonder how that barrel got up there.
Ooh, we've got a Minnesota friend.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's the high tide team. I came here Wednesday at
All right. Well,
Yeah.
if we hear these fishermen getting really excited, we'll come back over here. But we're gonna go pop over to the other side of.
Try to give you a sighting of some actual fish.
Yeah,
Just some.
splishes and splashes. Okay. And checking both ways. Do some fancy phone passing.
I don't think we're gonna jump that here.
Yeah, the boots
So we'll go up and around.
are not that tall. Excellent, excellent.
Oh, nice to see the true fish in weather time
How you laughing at my license plate?
Oh, it's good. We're loving on it.
Gina,
Oh,
this is super gross.
that is super gross. Is that a
super
skunk?
No, this is a deer.
Oh, the white is just the other meat.
Yep, that's the inside of the skin. So there's a weird deer carcass here. Cool, we're gonna
Okay, roadkill.
walk away from that. Alright, so I think we can safely head down here. We can do the phone pass.
Okay, perfect.
Get down and all. Film you. There you go. Got it. Ta-da. Easy peasy. All right. So we are just outside of the creek property. There's a little bit of this kind of wetland area. Oh no, we got another jump. There we go. Ready? Everybody hold on. Don't fall in. Don't get stuck. We've got 9 friends watching us here. All right. So you can kind of travel through these. There are paths. There's lots of people who are out here. And of course, it's starting to rain. I was just thinking about how lucky we've been the past few days or few weeks when we've come down here to be able to see. Oh, what you got, Stina? A little trash pickup? Nice. Unfortunate side effect of so many people being out in this habitat. So you can really see how big and wide the creek is here. Yeah, sorry for the not so steady cam footage. We're walking on weird substrates here. We've got really sloped creekside. Stina's looking to see if there's any fish hanging in the little back eddies here. And then the fence here goes down to kind of stop erosion along the creekside. So we'll carefully navigate this. So these fish that are moving up, they've been spending the last about 3 to 5 years in the salt water, and they've been accumulating basically fat. They've been getting as big as they possibly can in order to have enough stamina to really make it up the creek bed. So let's check in here. See. This is that knotweed we talked about a few weeks ago. Now all the leaves are done, and it's just these dry, empty canes here. Let's see. Oh. So last week we only saw about 2 fish and just their dorsal fins.
Yeah, you can under
Can
the
you see?
line going across.
Here, we can walk around to the easier spot to view. Just don't want to interfere too much in folks' fishing game a little bit. But we can kind of come and see. Usually what you'll see is just beyond that cedar tree. You can often see their backs coming up, and a lot of them you can see are jumping up against the grate back there. So that blocks the fish passage and kind of routes them around to the left where the fish ladder is. Looks like we've got a fish on. Yep, let me move. Don't want to get hooked.
Can I get the net, please? Have to look back on the table back on the bottle.
It's pretty strong swimmer.
Yeah, chum salmon are the second largest salmon species that we have here in the Pacific Northwest, and they can be quite big.
No, Go, Chris. Eso me funciona, eso.
All right, so we've got a lot of fish action that you guys probably can't quite see. It's a little far off. But there's a good amount of fish up against the grate. Again, once the tide goes back down, and it'll change here in a couple minutes, and then that fresh water will kind of flush back out of the system, and that will make it so that the water level will drop, and that helps to route the fish a lot easier. So right now they're kind of all dead ending right at the grate, instead of noticing that the path travels up to the left and they can continue that way. When it's low tide, it's a lot easier for them. Which is kind of cool. Noticing all those leaves are now gone from the trees up here.
Let that one go.
Yep, that one was a snag again, so let it loose, which is always good to see. Give them a chance. Yeah, lots of action here, and you can kind of see the timing of things matters as well as the tide. So when we're here on a low tide or a negative tide, we'll experience a lot less water flow, and that makes it more difficult for the fish to head up. When it's high tide like this, it's really easy for the fish, but can sometimes be confusing because of that mixing of fresh water and salt water. Remember, salmon navigate by smell and by the magnetic field of the earth, and so they're trying to get back to their spot, and they can get close using the magnetic field, and then they're going to get the final push with smell. And a lot of scientists theorize that's why salmon jump when they're out in the saltwater, sometimes before they're heading in. There's been a lot of theories about what they're doing, whether it's loosening up their eggs or something like that, but a new theory is that they are knocking the water out of their nostrils and refilling them with fresh water from their location. So they kind of jump up to be able to get a fresh smell.
They of course don't have noses like us. It's more of a little nasal pit, so getting a fresh whiff.
Yeah, not quite the.
Little divot, so they don't, have gills. It's more of a olfactory sensory.
Yeah, it's like a little cup rather than a flow through system like we've got, which
I feel like there's a really fun suite of different ways that fish make it back. They also like salinity's
Yep.
a big part of it. the cast of all this knotweed.
yeah, the knotweed really. I'm gonna catch a hook to the eyeball.
It would be a very, very fine catch right now.
Oh, thank you, Gina. Well, let's walk back and see if we can see maybe that school of fish that was coming up.
I also think it's fun to talk about how high salmon can jump.
Oh yeah, good point.
It's impressive to think, like, we're pretty big mammals, and we can't jump that high.
I can jump my height, which is pretty
That's impressive.
impressive, except for that I'm not very tall, so it's less impressive when you realize how short I am. Or at least I could in high school. Things have changed.
What is it in Scotland? The Atlantic salmon. There's a barrier that's 13 feet, so we know, like,
At least one fish.
13 feet
Kind of crazy.
fish is just wild.
Yeah, we've got some more rain in our forecast, so we would anticipate that even more erosion would happen. Now that all the leaves, you can see them kind of covering the hillside, they're going to be leaching tannins into this water as well. So things are just going to be harder to see fish. But we'll keep bringing you some broadcasts, hopefully trying to see what's swimming down there. Here, let's go this way. See if we can't notice some going up. And this last leg of the journey is often some of the most treacherous for these fish. They're having to navigate not only the natural hazards that are here, but also the man-made ones as well.
Yeah, I mean, we like to say the salmon struggle is From it hatch, like, you know, being an egg.
A delicious, nutritious egg. Yeah, salmon do have it rough through every stage of the game, but it seems such a shame, you know, when they get this far and they've spent years out at sea and they've survived the predators out there, you know, no orcas got them, no sea lions got to them, and then they make it all the way to their home stream and then they get eaten. Such a bummer. It's like, oh man, just wait a few more hours and I'll have my nest dug and my...
And then what's even worse is just thinking about how stormwater runoff can impact salmon. In Seattle, there's some streams that they have a lot of like pre-spawn mortality, so the fish die before they can spawn because of the pollution in the creeks. Part of the bummer of it being fall is that we do get a lot of rain, and if it hasn't rained in a while and you get that fresh
a big influx with...
pollution being carried in it,
Yeah, the timing for our poor salmon is really unfortunate. You know, if they were to come up in the springtime, they would have had a whole winter's worth of flushing on those roads, you know, all the rain washing those sediments, sort of diluting them. But really, ideally, we would have none of that pollution whatsoever. So these fish have it rough. But there's, I would argue, no species that's more Pacific Northwest iconic than salmon. Maybe Sasquatch, but... Since we don't have... we should go on a Sasquatch hunt. Oh man, that'd be great.
But yeah, it's Sasquatch.
We could go on a Sasquatch hunt. I heard they come out at night. You want to go wander around the woods at night with me, Stina?
We're looking for the beach Sasquatch. So
Yes.
something that's exciting about this time of year is the really low negative tides happen at night. So you can look forward to
You can tune in. There's an awesome low tide tonight and tomorrow, and we'll be out and hopefully weather permitting, more wind permitting. The rain doesn't bother us so much, but it's really hard to do a broadcast when it's really windy, despite all of our little tips and tricks and things.
But, yeah, looking forward to some cold, wet beach walks.
Yeah, yep. Now, this is normally the time of year where we would be soliciting you to come and volunteer with us and hang out in the dark and wet and cold, rainy nights.
Really convincing. You gotta come count barnacles with me at midnight on the beach.
It surprisingly is very fun, and almost every volunteer that we've ever had to our beach monitoring program that comes during the nighttime in the winter, they stick around and they come back year after year. So we've got...
It's like miserable enough that it's like memorable.
Yes.
How you like, there's something about like you remember things that are bad better than the good things. But it's also like really good.
Like,
so you're
yeah.
like
It's suffering for science. It's good.
Yeah, it's really fun.
But we're unable to meet in large groups, of course, and so we're going to be handling those with just our Harbor Wild Watch staff and the people that run that program. So this year you'll have to sit it out. You'll have to hear all about our cool adventures in the nighttime.
Some live broadcasts just for fun, especially like we're trying to capture the sideways wind.
Yeah. Give you the real experience. Super fun. Well, we will.
Plan for New Year's Eve.
Ooh, there you go.
We'll be out there
If you,
at midnight.
because no one will be out partying, they'll be home on their couch in their pajamas.
We don't have plans for that holiday.
No.
So, like, we might as well work on the beach.
Yeah, might as well. Awesome. Well, I think this is a. Oh,
one more thing to
yeah,
plug.
yeah.
We have cocktails and fishtails coming
Oh,
up.
2 more things to plug. I thought of something else too.
Yeah, so on Wednesday, we'll be having Julie Masura from UW talking about microplastics. This is not microplastic.
It's a macroplastic.
But the tiny plastics that this could photodegrade into and how that's impacting our ocean waterways and things. So definitely tune into that by doing exactly what you're doing right now. Log on to the Harbor Wild Watch Facebook page, and 6 o'clock,
We'll be there.
we'll be there talking microplastics. So.
Tomorrow we also, Stina's going to be giving a salmon tour. Normally in the wintertime, we are doing and focusing on our chum salmon. We're kind of hyping them up for the Chum Festival. But this year we're doing Chum Fest all month long, which means you can expect more salmon content from us. We will be doing walking tours in stages. So instead of having to sit through one whole long one, we will break it down into a couple different stops. So we're going to be focused on estuaries tomorrow, which is
I'm gonna do a little bit of practice. I'm gonna bring the big scope.
Oh,
and see if we
yes.
can,
Do some shorebird
birds.
watching.
Yeah, so, that
Awesome.
will be part 1 of our 3-part Donkey Creek salmon tours. So definitely check those out. And of course, if you missed them, you can always tune in later on the Facebook stream that gets posted, or we'll have them on YouTube a little bit later. But
A little later.
they'll
Yeah,
all
so
be available.
speaking of that, if you wouldn't mind heading over to our YouTube channel, give us a subscribe, a like, a follow, all of those things. Comment on those videos. Those help them to be lifted in the algorithm and get our message out to even more people. So we always want to encourage you to interact with us in those ways. So thank you for all of the people who share and comment and like and all of that. It's really great for us. And
If you feel like it, you can even donate real money. We have a little link on this video, as well as a secure way to donate on our website. So we appreciate all your support, whether it's likes, follows, or hard cold cash.
all of it helps us to fulfill our mission of inspiring stewardship for this amazing habitat that we have here. We're incredibly blessed and so lucky to be in and around this wonderful wildlife, and we hope you appreciate it and want to protect it too.
With that, I think we'll wrap up our Friday fish check here at Mentor Creek. Thanks so much for joining us, and tune in next Friday, as well as for all the other fun salmon program that we're doing for the rest of November.
All right, learn, have fun.